Sponsored by Texas Orthopedics.
Good evening and welcome to Game Night. Baseball's short and regular season wraps up today. Shaka Smart completes his coaching staff while Texas State goes through a bit of a shakeup. And we had the most complete weekend of football since the season started. And we start with the Longhorns holding steady at number 9 in the coaches poll, dropping from a tie for 8th down to 9th in the AP poll after an overtime shootout with Texas Tech in Lubbock yesterday. It was arguably the wildest chapter in a rivalry that has had plenty of crazy moments. The Texas offense rolling to start out, end of the first quarter. Sam Ehlinger fits it in a perfect window, and Josh Moore makes a phenomenal catch for a 31-yard touchdown to take a 17-7 lead. Early in the second, Tech almost going blow for blow with UT. Alan Bowman to Kashawn Carter on the slant route, 22 yards and a missed tackle later, and it's 17-14. Ensuing kickoff, and Tech with a perfectly executed surprise onside kick. Red Raiders recover, and on the very next snap, Chris Brown picks off Bowman, takes it down to near midfield. That's the second pick of Brown's career. Texas turns it into a Roschon Johnson touchdown to go back up 10. Later in the quarter, Horns up 24-21 now, punting it away, and Ryan Buchevsky's punt is blocked. Texas special teams a disaster for most of the day, but just like on the last special teams blunder, the Texas defense comes up big. Just 2 plays later, Chris Ademora picks off Bowman, the first interception of his career, and he comes up with a huge return. Takes it 71 yards before he's tackled inside the red zone. One of the sidebars yesterday, the Schooler brothers, Texas receiver Brendan Schooler and his brother Colin, a linebacker for Tech, both transferred to their respective schools from Arizona after the Pac-12 initially said it wouldn't play this fall. After that Ademora pick, Brendan finds the end zone on a 3-yard screen from Ehlinger to go up 31-21. Early in the second half, another error on special teams. Deshaun Jameson fumbles the punt. Tech recovers it in the end zone for a touchdown to pull within 3 points yet again. On the Red Raiders' next possession, though, UT finally comes up with a big play on special teams. Tyler Owens blocks the punt, and Jahdae Barron, the Connolly product, recovers it and scores. Texas is up 38-28 after that. End of the third quarter now. Horns up just 3, and Sam Ehlinger throws an interception. Alex Hogan picks him off and takes it down to the 10, and on the very next snap, SaRodorick Thompson punches it in to give the Red Raiders their first lead of the game, up 42-38. After a Cameron Dicker field goal to make it 42-41, Bowman threw the air to TJ Vasher, the nephew of a former Longhorn, Nathan Vasher. That makes it 49-41, 325 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 picks for Bowman yesterday. And then this looked like it was the nail in the coffin. Thompson just shedding tacklers left and right. A 75-yard touchdown to go up 15 points, 56-41, just 3:13 left on the clock, so Texas has to go into hurry-up mode. Ehlinger caps off a 34-second drive with a 12-yard touchdown to Brennan Eagles to make it 56-48. But the Horns need an onside kick to realistically keep any hope alive, and they get it. A perfect kick from Dicker, and Malcolm Epps recovers it. Ensuing possession, Ehlinger with an 18-yard strike to Moore, but the Horns still need the 2-point conversion to tie it. Just 41 seconds on the clock, and Ehlinger hits Eagles for the 2-point conversion to tie things up at 56-all and send it to overtime. In OT, Ehlinger, his 5th touchdown pass of the game, Moore's 3rd touchdown catch of the day. Texas up 63-56, 262 yards of Ehlinger through the air, 6 total touchdowns, 331 yards of total offense, and then Caden Stearns picks off Bowman, 4th and 14, and Texas Tech loses it as the Longhorns with a huge comeback to win it 63-56.
For us to find the intestinal fortitude.
I was able to come back and contribute the way that I did.
Only one injury for Texas yesterday, and according to Tom Herman, Bijan Robinson has a strained back after a failed attempt to hurdle a defender. And one more Texas note, on Friday, UT landed a new commitment for the class of 2021 from Max Merrill. He's a 3-star offensive lineman out of Houston. Longhorns are back home, an 11 a.m. kick against TCU on Saturday. Horned Frogs finally opened their season yesterday against Iowa State in Fort Worth. Fourth quarter, Max Duggan in at quarterback after Matthew Downing got the start. Duggan hits Artavius Lynn, a 48-yard touchdown to make it 30-28. 16-19, 241 yards and 3 touchdowns for Duggan, but he also throws an interception, and that pick leads to a 32-yard Breece Hall touchdown. One of 3 on the day for Hall on 155 yards rushing. TCU loses 37-34. And how about the game in Norman? Sooners hosting Kansas State. Oklahoma up as much as 21 points late in the third quarter, but turnovers killing OU. Jerron McPherson forces the Seth McGowan fumble. Drew Wiley recovers it, and then Skylar Thompson turns that into a touchdown to pull the Wildcats within one score at 35-28. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on 10 total yards. Same score in the fourth now, and K-State blocks OU's punt. A.J. Parker gets a hand on it. Nick Allen with a recovery, and with the short field, Deuce Vaughn gets it. He finds the hole, cuts it upfield, and he's gone. A 28-yard touchdown run to tie things up at 35 all, 174 yards of total offense for the Cedar Ridge product. K-State takes the lead on a 50-yard field goal from Blake Lynch to go up 38-35, and on OU's last possession, down 3 still, Spencer Rattler throws his 3rd interception of the game. McPherson picks him off to lock up the win as the Wildcats stun the Sooners 38-35. Other action around the league, Baylor dominates Kansas in Dave Aranda's debut, 47-14 the final in Waco, and Oklahoma State beats West Virginia 27-13. Texas A&M and the SEC finally kicked off the season last night. The Aggies hosting Vanderbilt, and this was an ugly game, 7-5 at the half. That's more like a baseball score, but early in the third, Kellen Mond with a 17-yard touchdown pass to Caleb Chapman. And then on A&M's next possession, Mond fumbles it. 3 turnovers for the Aggies yesterday, just 189 yards passing for Mond and 1 touchdown. Doors take advantage of the turnover. Ken Seals to Amir Abdur-Rahman to make it 14-12. Last possession now for Vandy, 3rd and long, and Michael Clemens comes up with the sack to force the punt, and the Aggies win it 17-12.
Thank them for the win. You found a way to win. There's not this, and there's something to that too. But you got to look at yourself and be very self-critical. And we do as coaches, we do as players. Why did those mistakes happen? It's a lot easier to go fix mistakes when you win than when you lose. But like I told them, it's a bad week for them. We won, and I can be mad all week. So and I got to coach better.
Texas State on the road at Boston College yesterday, a chance to take down a Power 5 program. And the Bobcats looking strong. Third quarter, Brady McBride playing his first game since the opener, connects with Marcel Barbie to go up 21-7, but BC rallies down 7. Phil Jakovich to Hunter Long for a 5-yard touchdown. That ties it up, and then with just seconds left on the clock, the Eagles come up with a game-winning field goal from 36 yards out. Bobcats lose it 24-21. For as loaded as the schedule seemed yesterday, come November, it'll be a full slate. Every FBS conference will be in action. This past week, the Pac-12, Mountain West, and MAC all announced that they would be playing football this fall. In the NFL, the Cowboys are in Seattle trying to keep the momentum going from last week's miraculous comeback. Second quarter, Dallas down 16-9, thanks in part to a safety. Dak Prescott hits Cedric Wilson. That's Wilson's first career touchdown, but the PAT is blocked, so Dallas is down 16-15. A rough day for the Cowboys on special teams. Less than a minute left in the half now, and Prescott's pass is picked off. Shaquille Griffin intercepts it, and Russell Wilson cashes in. He connects with a wide-open Tyler Lockett for Lockett's 3rd touchdown haul of the first half. Dallas is down 23-15 at the break. First play of the second half, and Prescott is strip sacked. Seahawks recover. That leads to another Wilson touchdown pass to go up 30-15, but then the Cowboys comeback gets going. Prescott with a 42-yard touchdown to Wilson to cut it to an 8-point game at 30-22. And then in the fourth quarter, Prescott with a perfect throw to Michael Gallup just fits it in there, but the 2-point conversion fails, so Dallas is down 30-28. But Greg Zuerlein later makes a 42-yard field goal to give the Cowboys their first lead since early in the game, up 31-30. No worries for Seattle, though. Wilson caps off an 8-play, 75-yard drive with his 5th touchdown pass of the game, a 29-yarder to DK Metcalf to regain the lead, up 38-31 after the 2-point conversion. Cowboys hoping for another late-game miracle. Prescott somehow manages to stay on his feet, escapes the pressure, looks downfield, and it's picked off. Ryan Neal essentially ends the game. That's Prescott's 3rd turnover of the game. Cowboys lose it 38-31.
They made more key plays than we did.
The details, and we'll change this thing around. I mean, we've got a long way to go. We're just 1-2.
Texans are in Pittsburgh today, wrapping up a brutal 3-game stretch to start the season, trying to avoid an 0-3 start. Fun fact, No Houston receivers have caught a touchdown so far this season until this. Randall Cobb with a 28-yard touchdown to go up 7-3. Texans up 14-10 in the second. Now Ben Roethlisberger with a nearly identical throw to Juju Smith-Schuster. That's a 26-yard touchdown to put Pittsburgh up 17-14. Right before halftime, though, Deshaun Watson hits Will Fuller to go into the break up 21-17, but Houston fails to score a point in the entire second half, and the Steelers regain the lead in the fourth quarter on a James Conner 12-yard touchdown run, and Pittsburgh wins the Watt Bowl 28-21. Brothers Derek and TJ beat JJ and the Texans. And how about this one? Bears and Falcons. And early in the second half, Nick Foles comes off the bench to replace Mitch Trubisky. His Bears are down 26-10 when he comes in. Takes him a bit to get going, but in the fourth quarter, a 3-yard touchdown to Jimmy Graham. Then he hits Allen Robinson. Robinson breaks a tackle, and he's gone for a 37-yard touchdown to pull within 3. And then Foles caps off the comeback with a perfect 28-yard touchdown toss to Anthony Miller. Foles comes off the bench to lead the Bears to a 30-26 come-from-behind win. Some other action around the league. Baker Mayfield leads the Browns to a 34-20 win over Washington. So at 2-1, Cleveland has its first winning record in 6 years. New York football is winless. Both the Jets and Giants are 0-3, and the Bengals and Eagles finish in a 23-all tie. We got more game night coming up for you after the break. We check in on some high school football. Stick around. Major League Baseball's truncated regular season wraps up today. Instead of the 162-game marathon, just a 60-game sprint in 66 days. The Silver Boot Series to wrap up the season for both Houston and Texas, though the Astros just sneak into the playoffs, so they got some more baseball to play. Jose Altuve gets things going in the first. Solo home run, just his 5th in this shortened season. In the fourth, Stros up 3-1, but Rougned Odor flips that with one swing. A 3-run homer puts the Rangers up 4-3. Next inning, Odor goes yard again, a 4 RBI day. Rangers end a down season on a high note with an 8-4 win over Houston. Neither team wins the Silver Boot, though. They split the season series 5-5. Playoffs get started on Tuesday. Again, the Astros back for the 4th straight year. For the first time in franchise history, they are the 6th seed in the West. They take on the Twins in the best-of-3 wildcard round that gets started on Tuesday. Back to football now. Week 5 of the high school football season, but it was week 1 for most big schools, kicking off the season about a month later than their small school counterparts. Westlake coming off its first state title since Drew Brees was under center for the Chaps, hosting Schertz Clemens. First offensive snap of the season, and Zane Miners takes it 76 yards for a touchdown. 3 touchdowns on 115 yards and 7 carries for Miners on Friday. Cade Klubik threw for 154 yards. This is only touchdown, 29-yarder to Luke Nicholas, as the Chaps win big, 53-7. Cedar Park hosting Vandergrift. Both teams perennial playoff contenders, but this one all about the Black Rain. Ryder Hernandez, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns on Friday. This one to Josh Cameron for 44 yards, and the Black Rain defense coming up big. Kason Wisenhutter pulls down the interception as the T-Wolves win it 21-7, handing the Vipers their first regular season loss since 2017. At the field, the best named stadium in Central Texas, Connolly and Pflugerville in action, and this was all Panthers. Desmond Thomas to Elijah Oakman for a 29-yard touchdown, but Oakman did most of his damage on the ground, 132 yards rushing. Then Thomas with a little flip to Jake Ioka. He goes 108 total yards of offense on Friday, and the defense for the Panthers posts a shutout. Pflugerville wins it 35-0. And in Class 4A, Burnett taking on Robinson in its last non-district game of the year. Huge game for Marcus Escamilla. 4 total touchdowns, 150 yards rushing as the Bulldogs win easily, 42-21. AISD and most of the Round Rock schools will start their seasons this week. Our KBVO big game of the week on Thursday. Lake Travis's season opener as they take on Westwood. More game night after the break. We check in on NBA playoff action from the bubble in Orlando. Shaka Smart completed his coaching staff last week, promoting Cody Hatt from Director of Basketball Operations to a full-time assistant. Hatt had been with the program since Smart first arrived from VCU, where Hatt was also a grad assistant under Smart. He replaces Jay Lucas, who unexpectedly left for an off-the-court role with Kentucky. Earlier this offseason, Smart also hired KT Turner from SMU. Turner replaces Luke Yaklich, who got a head coaching job at Illinois Chicago. Smart also signed five-star product Greg Brown out of Vandegrift this offseason. He's had to navigate his program through the pandemic and helped his team deal with the social justice movement going on in this country. Now he's undergoing the complicated task of trying to rework his team's schedule.
The thing that is really, I think, challenging for every role is to be students and athletes and coaches.
Texas State basketball coach Danny Casper resigned last week after 7 seasons in San Marcos. The move comes in the wake of former Bobcat Jalen Shedd making accusations of racism against Casper. He led the Bobcats to 82 wins over the past 4 seasons, including the program's first back-to-back 20-win seasons since the late 70s. Casper was head coach at Stephen F. Austin for 13 years before taking over at Texas State. Practices for college basketball can start in less than 3 weeks. October 14th is the start date for that. The season can tip off November 25th. In the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Game 6, Heat with a chance to close things out, but Boston with a late lead in this one. Jason Tatum from 3, 24 points and 11 rebounds for him. Celtics up 198, but Miami takes over after that. An 18-2 run. Jimmy Butler caps that off. He finishes with 22 points. And then Bam Adebayo with the exclamation point, 32 points and 14 rebounds as the Heat book their ticket to the finals with a 125-113 win to take the series 4-2. So the finals are all set. Miami and the Lakers from the bubble in Orlando. Game 1 is on Wednesday. A nail-biter in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals last night. Stars need a win to keep the season alive, and in double overtime, Corey Perry finds the back of the net as the Stars win at 3-2 in double OT. Game 6 is tomorrow night right here on KXAN. Same situation for Dallas, needing another win to avoid elimination. We're back up after the break. A Red River rivalry weekend for Texas athletics, both soccer and volleyball, taking on Oklahoma. Volleyball in Norman, 2 matches in 2 days, part of the Big 12's COVID-19 adjusted schedule. Match point in the 4th set, and Asia O'Neal ends it with her 11th kill, one of 5 Longhorns with double-digit kills. Texas wins it 3-1. And Texas soccer hosting the Sooners on Friday. Rough start to the year for the Longhorns, 0-2 and without a goal so far, but in the second half, Presley Eccles ends all of that. The freshman, a little slow dribbler inside the box, and the Longhorns get their first win of the season, 1-0 over Oklahoma. That's going to do it for us here on Game Night. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.